Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I'm Braden. This is Tim. Second Legacy is the place, and thank you so much for stopping by. We have got something that we need to show you today. It turns out even high schoolers don't really buy what the gun controllers are selling, but does that stop them? Not even a little bit, because fealty to message and narrative is what is demanded, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to bring it in. We're going to analyze it, send a little bit of sarcasm and humor right back out for easy consumption. And with that, check out our sponsor, Ammo Squared, and then we're going to hit this. And the content today is brought to you by a sponsor, Ammo Squared. Now, this is such an interesting idea, guys. We're talking about retirement accounts for your ammo. It's a thing. This is something you guys definitely at least look at if you're interested.
So what's really cool about it is you can tell Ammo Squared what type of ammunition you want, and it'll automatically purchase that ammunition throughout the month. You can also sell the ammunition back if you don't want it, or you can just say, send it to me now, and they'll hold it for you. They'll store it for free, and they'll ship it to you whenever you request it. There's so many cool features about this service. You really need to check them out at ammosquared.com, and we want to thank them for sponsoring today's video.
All right, Tim, listen. In a world where high schoolers are going, yeah, you're dumb. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Well, as I've often said, and I don't know what this article is all about just yet, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that we're talking about that pendulum, right? Sometimes it swings hard left. And then when it goes all the way over there, it stops, and then naturally it's going to swing back to the right. And so maybe you're watching that paradigm shift take place right in front of our very eyes.
I don't normally, I would say absolutely, but I don't even think it's that complex. So I'm going to bring you in. I'm going to share the story with you because I think there's some things you're going to love here. So let's dive into this, and we'll see if we're close to that, okay? This is what the idea is of the article from a Meg Anderson. This is, I believe, from NPR. Where gun violence is common, Tim, some students say physical safety is a top concern. Okay, well, that kind of makes sense. It's kind of an innocuous title to an article. It doesn't really seem anything like crazy, right? Except when you start reading it, because that's what tends to happen on these articles when there's gun control involved. It's either going to go way far left or it's going to go way far right. They don't want to tell you. But check this out. This is in Minneapolis. All right, Minneapolis is going to play a key word here, or a key phrase here. So the students at North Community High School, Tim, in Minneapolis, the high school, have seen a lot. Some things, morbid curiosities, a bullet freshly fired, spinning and melting the rubber on the track surrounding the school's football field. The federal government, this should make you feel so sweet, the federal government is investing billions of dollars to combat this problem. But on the north side of Minneapolis, some students living under the threat of gun violence say there's a disconnect between what the government is offering and what they say they need. Hold the phone. A disconnect?
Between government and what people need? Never.
There would never happen.
Right? I mean, government's here to help. It's your
life
friend. Is so much better with heavy government regulation and government leaning on you. I mean, who in their right mind doesn't want a big government as a friend? What could go wrong?
Exactly. I'm glad you came ready today, because that's exactly the point here, except that it's not. Because what's really interesting about this is the juxtaposition of what the Columbia researchers, I said Columbia, it's kind of in the news with something else right now, and all the leftist gun controllers are doing, and then what the high schools are saying and the principals are saying. Listen to this juxtaposition, Tim. All right, so let's see here. There we go. This is number 4. In response, the Biden administration is offering $1 billion across the next several years as part of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that aims to increase the number of mental health professionals in school. And as part of that same legislation, Tim, the administration distributed about another $1 billion in grants to create what it calls safer and healthier learning environments, employing a wide range of strategies, including anti-bullying and violence prevention programs, staff training, and metal detectors. You could not write a better leftist little blurb on the planet. Say all the buzzwords. Yeah. Make sure you do some classes. Don't do anything important, but make sure it feels nice and fluffy.
It feels nice and fluffy, and by golly, we've funded it with $2 billion.
Right. Exactly. $2 billion. So if we throw more money at it, it's going to make it automatically better.
Because, Braden, seriously, there's one key element missing here.
What?
They have to raise taxes. Everybody knows taxes makes things go away. Not just your money, the
tax and spend.
It's like, we have a problem with too much carbon getting into the atmosphere. I know. Let's place taxes on people. That'll help. I mean, that seems to be the left's solution to everything, right? Just tax people. And then the other problem is somehow go away. Taxes.
Listen, they don't need that wealth. That wealth is not going to be utilized the most efficient manner by the population and the people. We should just go ahead and deposit it in a centralized, controlled manner in the middle right there by the government strings. And we should be fine, right? right?
Mhm.
Everything's good. How's inflation, by the way, right
Oh,
now,
it's doing
Tim?
great. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, gosh, mortgages
yeah.
up 96% since 2020 to an average of
Yeah.
$2,700 a month. I mean, yeah, things are going great.
Who doesn't love
Yeah.
it? Yeah, well, I can't imagine why it keeps going up with, $100 billion to Ukraine just passed, $1 billion for this school, $1 billion for these plans and healthier learning environments. They are detached from reality completely. And then every once in a while, you get this glimmer of hope from the next generation, and this is where the payoff comes in because we started with the leftist
Yeah.
dribble, right? Well, this is number 5. In 2020, George Floyd was murdered by a police officer in the same city. Shortly after, the school district ended its contract with the city's police and pulled school resource officers from its buildings. This is one of the high schoolers. Quote, "So now the police is out of our school," says Brown, the senior whose best friend was killed. "We needed that police officer at our school and they took it out."
Hey, look, you need to
Well,
follow Davey over at K-12 Shooting Database because he says, and so
that's
does
true.
Davey Hogg, he says that security puts you at greater risk, son. Now shut up
That's
and go
right.
through the TSA checkpoint at the
They
airport.
should have gotten on the Twitter feed. Yeah, they should have gotten the Twitter feeds and really understood what they really clearly don't, and not believe their lying
Yeah.
eyes. I mean, literally, dude. The reason that this is so poignant to me is you've got a government official and a Columbia researcher and all of these high leftists talking about, well, studies are showing that if we just devote this amount of money to anti-bullying and staff training and the metal detectors here and there sparsely because that would make people uncomfortable, it will go down. The high school students are like, can I just have the cop back that costs 40 grand a
Right?
year? That'd be great.
Okay. Didn't see
Yeah,
that coming.
that's very
Didn't see
appropriate.
that coming.
They are out of touch. I like that, Doctor. That was a good little surprise.
Yeah.
That was-
No,
yeah.
that's irony right there. And the other thing is like we'll just print money, we'll throw it at the school, we'll get rid of the SROs, and then we'll have this anti-bullying course. And what does that look like? Because
Right.
I have 3 kids in school, and it
Mhm.
seems like some of the most incompetent people I have to interact with on a weekly basis are people at the school. And so, I mean, seriously, they're the laziest, most incompetent people I've ever ran into, the people that we have to work with sometimes. And it's across multiple different school districts, right? So what they're saying here is we're just going to throw money at it. They're going to do probably nothing with it, maybe buy, new school supplies or something, probably misappropriated. That seems to be a commonplace or common theme within the government. But then what are they going to do? It's like, okay, hey, stop bullying. That'll be $1,000. Hey, you too, stop. That's 2,000. Oh, you. It's like,
Right.
what are they doing?
Yeah.
Anti-bullying. Yeah, I mean,
It's
agree
kind of-
bullying's bad, but what are they going to do? I'll tell you what they're going to do. They're going to take the money and do nothing.
Well, they're going to reallocate it to
Right.
other things.
Put the SRO
what will
back in
happen. Right. Exactly. It's so simple. Like, this is the point. This is where we start. Where the next parts here are where we start to dispel some serious leftist crap. But it's so simple. And this is the thing that's so fascinating to me. High schoolers who are 18 years old, who have no real life experience. I'm not dogging on them. They're young in their lives. They'll learn as life goes on. But even at 18 years old, they go, oh, so you're giving us $1 billion? Why don't you just give us the cop back?
Can't we peel off 40 grand
so
a year
easy.
and put the cop back in here and then we can,
Right. It's the same thing that we saw in New York with those metal detectors, where you could get 2 of them for $225,000, or you could buy 10,000 metal detecting wands for 15.
Yeah, for $25 each off Amazon. I know. I mean, but this is the mentality.
It's like, what
these people,
the hell?
I mean, it's just they're lunatics, man.
It's just insane. It's absolutely insane. But the first thing that they're going to say to us on the left, Tim, the first thing they'll say is, well, that's going to make it very uncomfortable, and they can't trust, and that's just going to make it a criminalized feel to the schools. Here's the next thing the student says. This is number 7. Quote, "That's a trusted person," Beard says. "If I knew my coach was out there protecting me, I'm fine." Awkward.
Yeah.
So they want the cop and the SRO back, and they trust the SRO because that's the person that's involved in the community, and they trust them protecting them. You literally just blew the leftist propaganda out the window by an 18-year-old kid just talking.
No, I mean, it seems that they have more common sense than the people that are supposed to be educating them. Crazy.
Oh my goodness, Tim. And I see why you got to that point, because I haven't shown you the studies yet.
Let's have the studies.
That's what it is. There's studies. So we've shown the introduction of leftist dribble. We've shown the common sense of a high schooler who's still a senior in high school. Well, now we're going to jump to the ultimate level of intelligence, Columbia researchers.
Oh, okay.
And I do mean that
Yeah.
sarcastically, since they can't even have classes right now because of protest against something and threat to their student body. But no big deal. This is number 8. Studies have shown the presence of police can criminalize the school space and serve as a pipeline into the criminal justice system, says Rajan. The Columbia researcher, still, she says the need for physical safety is valid. Okay.
So this is the same line that I swear Davey at K-12 shooting database was following, right? So the presence of
Right.
police can criminalize the school space. What the hell does that even mean?
Exactly.
And
well, I mean, if people do bad things, the cops are there to catch them.
no, the criminals
so
are criminalizing the space. The cops are there to clean up the mess.
Oh, that's weird.
And then it's like,
so odd.
And then serve as a pipeline into the criminal justice system. Yeah, if you do something stupid, you're going to jail, dude.
Yeah, it's weird how accountability and responsibility and those things that used to be important.
Yeah, there's your pipeline, folks.
Yeah.
But it's because they won't hold anybody accountable that the people are running amok.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. That's the entire point. If you remove the accountability, that doesn't mean less bad things happen. That just means you arrest less people. It's just the stupidest mentality ever.
Well,
but don't worry, Tim.
But it makes their statistics look great, right? Like, just ignore it.
Correct.
Oh, that
exactly.
didn't happen.
Nailed
that
it.
wasn't a murder. No. Yeah, we had
our arrest rate's down by 50%. Yeah, because you stopped arresting people.
Yeah.
Like, no
crime's
kidding.
plummeting. We just don't arrest anybody anymore. There's no crime.
Yeah. That's weird. I mean, it's kind of like me like sewing my mouth shut and then going, my caloric intake has cut nearly in 3/4. Like, what? Well, don't worry, Tim. This is very important. It's nuanced situation. There's a lot of discernment here. You know how this is, right? Well, this is the next thing that she said. We can't necessarily employ a cookie cutter approach to gun violence prevention. There are 51 million children in our public school system right now, so there's a lot of nuance here we have to contend with. Nuance. There it is. Nuance.
A lot of.
So, hey, you got a crime problem? There's nuance, right. Tim.
Somebody comes in and starts, beating the crud out of students or whatever. Like, that's a very
teacher.
nuanced situation. Everybody back off. Let's see how this. It's very nuanced. We got to be very careful.
Can't do cookie cutter. Nice job. He's on it today.
I mean, it's just insanity. It's like, well, that's very nuanced. Let's see how this plays out, folks. We can't have a cookie cutter approach to grabbing the kid, beating the brakes off the other kid, and taking him to the office. It seems like that cookie.
That's exactly
that cookie cutter approach worked great for Gen Xers. We actually still got paddled in school, and guess what? We didn't have.
Oh my! Back in my day,
right back during the Civil War, son. They beat us with a wooden board with a rusty nail in it. But anyway,
I had to go out and get my own switch and bring it back. Now that was actually a thing, especially in the South. But genuinely, dude, the thing that kills me about this statement is first the double-sided comment, right? Well, the presence of police can criminalize schools and make it a very networked prison pipeline situation. But we also need physical security. Okay, well, hold on a second. Which one is it? Because you're trying to dance between don't piss off the far left and then don't seem like an idiot. And I'm going to be honest, you're looking like an idiot when you have two of them like this. And it's like, what's happening right here?
You just don't get it. This whole discussion is extremely nuanced.
Oh, man, I left out the nuance. You're right. No, you're right. Kathy Hochul did say it's very nuanced why everyone's allowed to shoot everyone in New York City. It is nuanced. There's a lot of discernment.
It's very nuanced why they turn killers loose on the street with no bond. It's a nuanced situation, folks. We have to be careful how we approach this. We don't want to hurt feelings. There's feelings involved here, folks.
You got some freaking nuance for you. And then the other part here, and this is what this speaks to something different. And I think this is something that we can really set up camp on. You can do a whole video on this, to be honest. We can't necessarily employ a cookie cutter approach to gun violence prevention. Okay. This speaks to something that's broader on the left. This is not just the gun control, gun rights. When they say they can't put a cookie cutter approach, that means they can't have a standardized system of justice across the entire system. So when they're saying cookie cutter approach, jurisprudence, the Department of Justice used to actually have a set code of standards that was blind. Justice was blind. You had the ability to create crime or not create crime, and you would face the penalties. That was the entire point. The cookie cutter approach was a standardized system across the board of don't do it, you won't find consequences. But now it's nuanced, and a cookie cutter approach is a bad idea. So that means you have to have an individualized approach for each crime. That's BS.
And what group you belong to and who you might
Right.
identify as or with. And we got to take
It's
all
a math
these things
equation.
into consideration when delegating out and dishing out punishment, right? We can't have this cookie cutter approach. Sarcasm meter needs to be going off the chart right now. It just seems so crazy to me that we would try to treat these children with cookie cutter approaches. They're each individual, unique peoples. We just need to tax them more, and then have a more nuanced approach to dealing with their criminal behavior, like shooting each other.
Nuance. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad, but we got to do that math equation every time. And Tim, in wrapping this up to get you really, really emotional, I think this is a key thing. We're about to see something else jump off the page to us in reference to this nuanced situation. This is number 9. Here's the final thing the Columbia researcher says, and then I'm going to show you the principle. Columbia researcher. She says, alongside stricter gun laws, strengthening communities at large, investing not just in school culture, but also in things like affordable housing and neighborhood green space, they can act as sort of a vaccine against violence.
Oh my God, these people are dumb as rocks, dude. Okay, so listen to all this PC doublespeak nonsense. Alongside stricter gun laws, of course, got to throw that. That's the first one, right? It's the guns. Security can do nothing, folks. Nothing. It's the guns. And then strengthening communities at large. What the hell does that even mean? Oh, but
well, I mean, it sounds so nice.
It just really gave me goosebumps. And then we got investing not just in local school culture. What the hell's that? The current school culture in many of our top cities like Chicago and New York, the culture is violence. Anyone invest in that?
Did you not read the right? Did you not read the opening statement of this article? Watching bullets spin around on a football field?
I mean, because that happens a lot. I mean, granted, I've seen bullets hit ice and spin, but it was talking about a bullet spinning on a football field, melting into. Well, if it's melting into something, it's probably there's a lot of friction. Anyway,
let it go. Let it go.
Anyway, maybe it happened. Let's see, but also things like affordable housing, folks, in green spaces. Johnny, why did you shoot Billy? I didn't have access to affordable housing and green spaces, and really we need more investment in communities at large and some stricter gun laws, and I couldn't have done this. I mean, these people are brain dead, and people that vote for these morons, you're brain dead. This is insanity, dude. Wow.
It is insane. See, I told you you'd get emotional, but I think it was the use of a vaccine.
Oh, that's a great ending, isn't it?
Because green spaces. Yeah. They can act as sort of a vaccine because those are always good.
An RMA.
It's so great. This is the mRNA of gun violence, Tim. Yes. That was love it. Well, after that leftist dribble BS, let me show you what the principal says. This is actually kind of funny. Frisselbin, who is the principal, wants to see that investment, wants that money. And though she welcomes the funds, she isn't sure the latest federal grants will get at the root problems that can lead to gun violence. No. Did she not hear about the vaccine? Oh, jeez, that's weird. That is.
Every time I was in a meeting and Fristelbin present, I would bust up laughing. What a great name.
It's a great name.
Well, yeah.
But she clearly doesn't understand how vaccines of green spaces work.
I want to see that investment. Let's invest in communities at large. Back to you, John.
I want that money. It's just so. And all this was said, and the 18-year-old high school student who actually feels the impact of all the policies is going. Can we just have the
only one in this entire article making any sense is the kid.
Is the child.
That's what's wrong with America today. When the adults are so freaking stupid that somebody that was born yesterday has more common sense than you do.
God. It's nuanced.
It's very nuanced.
It's nuanced. But you know what? If you could nuance us out of this video, I think it'd be a great time to do it.
I'm just going to go pound my head against the wall. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.